My name is Jesse, and I work as the audio director at Double Down Interactive. We put out Double Down Casino, which is the world's largest online casino. And check 1, 2. And basically, been doing a lot of HTML5 games over the course of the last year or so, and you come across a lot of limitations in audio, in terms of especially Android devices, because they're like all over the place as far as their variety of operating systems, and the hardware has a lot of limitations as well. Not so much with iOS, so we're probably not going to cover anything iOS related. This is all mostly just for the Android stuff. Basically, because of those limitations, sometimes you have to create these little files. So, wait a second. Mark. This is Mark. He's a co-worker at Double Down Interactive, and he's one of our best programmers over there, I think. Anyway, so I don't know if you know what audio sprites are, but they're basically when you take all of the sounds of your sound effects collection, and you put them in one folder, and then you create an index file and all of the stop and start points, and then it's easier to access them.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And so one of the things that me as an audio designer, I'm not really super like a lot of times when you have to generate this stuff, you have to use either your terminal or you've got to use something along those lines where I'm not really the best programmer to sit there and go and do all that kind of stuff. So I asked Mark if he would help me create a GUI, a little browser bot to actually do the compiling of these audio sprites. And kind of sat around and talked about this stuff for all this camera just blowing me away. Asked him if he would kind of help me put together something, and we sat down and we talked about some stuff. Currently, a game that I'm working on for Absolute Hero Games, which I'm a co-founder of, is this Dolphin game, and has a lot of audio in it. And anyway, so this is basically our audio sprite bot, and I think Mark could probably give you a good idea of just
Hi. Does this mic work? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, so this is a Node app. It's just running locally right now. I think we plan on hosting it online so that other people can use it. But it's just an interface to basically a Python module that does most of the work. So it's not, this is just screen grabs. We'll do a live demo later. Just threw up a few options that Jesse talked about needing. Talked about how you guys use silence between tracks in your audio sprites. So that's configurable. And then what to generate. I think MP3 and OGG is standard for Android, right?
Yep.
Probably won't need M4As, but if you do, you got it. And what you do is you basically just upload at one time, using the file upload button, all of your sprites that you want to generate, or all the source for the sprite. So here we have a directory of AIFFs. You can do waves, you can do whatever source you want. And you just upload them all at once, and it kind of generates a table. You can reorder them as you need. You can set the volume. These volumes are parsed from a JSON file that you can include in your in the upload. Yeah, and Jesse will talk about that later, about why you might want to do that. You hit the blue button on the bottom, and you get a little zip file that you can, on your hard drive, that you can then basically contains all of the...
unzip.
You can unzip, yeah. And it contains all of your source files, the generated source files, so which we can show you later. It'll make more sense if you can see the actual Finder. But you'll have your Sprite data file and your Sprite sound files as well.
And one of the reasons why we wanted to do this was because when you're using a config file to set all of your volumes for all your different files, when you create an audio sprite, most of that information is ignored because it doesn't. Well, until he created this app, all that stuff is ignored. So basically, in the config file, the web browser app goes in there, reads all the volume information, and then spits out an audio sprite where each of the sound effects reflects, the config file of the volume, which is really helpful for me because otherwise I have to go in and I have to sit there and sort of like read the config file and then go to my master audio file and bring it down, save it, turn it into OGGs or MP3s, and then introduce it back into the to the audio into the game. And it can take a long time, but using config files is super easy. I think we should get back to doing that, Craig, by the way. So anyway, now he's just going to show you how to do it. It's super simple.
Can you?
Oh yeah.
So I have it here. This is pretty cool. You just, whoops, that's my background. Can I show this to you? So this is the app. I just start it like this, and then I fire my browser, my local host, hit port 3000, and I have it here. So this is how Jesse would be doing this on his machine, or once we get a domain and find a place to host it, we can make it a free service. Because all it's really doing is taking your files from your hard drive, processing them, and then giving you back a zip with all of it back to you. So promise we won't keep any of it. Here's the upload interface. So you can see Jesse's got tons of game files here for his Dolphin game. And what you would do is you would include your little JSON data file that he provides, and all the tracks you want to process. Let's say we just want to do these. Boop. So we don't want these because these volumes don't correspond to the, they don't have a matching config entry. So this volume is actually basically the, what is it? Probably the root mean square. I don't know what this is, but let's just get rid of these. I don't want these here because they're going to mess up my sounds. And then I think I can add yeah, these have actual sounds. So, and if I want this guy to be first in the audio sprite, I would just drag him around so you can kind of play with that in case you need to fiddle with it a little bit. And then I want a second between each sound, so 1,000 milliseconds is fine. And I'll hit generate sprite, and hopefully it will process. It takes a little bit of time. And here's the big arrow showing me that I got a file. So I'm unzipping it, and then in my Finder, I'm going to, what did I just do? Anyway, this is the contents of it here on the, right here. So you've got your data file, and then your your full sprite. So this is all of them stitched together with the silence in between, and volume adjusted. And these are the individual files, also volume adjusted, in case you need them. So, have you guys ever noticed that your Finder just freezes? So maybe I can just open this OGG here with, what happens if I just click this? Here we go. Ooh, 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 ooh. Did you just play? Yeah. Yeah, so there so you have your full little sprite here. I won't play it all for you, but that's basically it. That's it for the demo. Yeah, I'm done.
It's just sort of a general question. I hear the word sprite thrown around in kind of game lingo a lot, but I've never actually understood what it is. Can you just kind of explain a sprite? 'Cause I don't think it's specifically audio. So how does it?
Yeah, I think it originates from the image sprites, so which is a collection of individual images packed together into one image file with a corresponding sort of data file that tells your program where each one is, what its orientation is, and things like that. So it was a way to kind of reduce network requests and latency in loading images for mobile, especially. And so I think it just carried on to audio, since you're packing a bunch of individual audio files into one big audio file, and then a data control file that tells your program, hey, where do I seek to play this file, and how long do I play for?
So are you using FFmpeg as a backend for the encoding, or
Yeah.
player?
Yeah, it's so the module that does the work is uses a PyDub, which is a great high-level Python library, which interfaces with FFmpeg or one other one. Yeah, but I use FFmpeg for this demo. It does everything I need.
Where are audio sprites supported? Browser-wise, or is it just for Android, or?
It's mostly Android.
Okay.
Safari. Craig's real smart about this stuff. It's mostly on Chrome browsers. All right. Yeah.
I want to throw in, it's supported by whatever program supports it, in effect. So if you write software to support it, then you can run it in Safari or wherever. If you're good, yeah.
That was kind of also most of my question, but further than that, what kind of formats, the JSON file that you're uploading, what does it actually look like? What does it contain?
This is so this is a custom format. You have to tweak your program to define one specific to your game's needs, to your game app. But this was pretty generic. Jesse provided this for me for what he uses with Absolute Hero. Basically just a path, an ID, a duration, start, and things like that. So it's pretty generic metadata that should apply to most games. But you can definitely tweak it or expand it.
All right. Thanks, guys.